Samope, Sampa Bietia, Chimothy non Kotu, Era One Radio, Samope, Jumpa Bietia, Chimothy non Kotu, Era One Radio, and Yum Pamtua, Asam Pamtua.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Boison Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Boison Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have X-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs, and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you, and stay blessed.
Good evening, Era One Radio listeners. It's another Saturday where we have the Health is Worth Protected show. Protect it as surely as you can. It's health, it's worth protected. The coach may say, "Uwa uwade." Esan say, "Scar would be quiet. Sabia ko boka ko yin answer. Uwa nkwa so we just spending in a call account. Your health is your word. Protected. All right, tonight. I am broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. The number to call in is 240-280-2633. Or if you want a text, it's 510-931-0946. I am broadcasting on behalf of our health team and also on behalf of our studio manager, Dr. Samuel Osetutu. Well, it's a beautiful Saturday evening. It's just a little after 6 p.m. and I believe it's 10 p.m. in Ghana, and maybe UK might be 11 p.m. So I wish to invite you, please watch us from Facebook, YouTube, Modern Ghana, and Ghana Radio. Tonight I am discussing this topic on breast cancer. Of course, you know, October, apart from the several awareness that we have to bring to our people in terms of health, breast cancer is one of those, and we don't have to play with it because breast is a very important aspect of any female. Of course, some of the men too who have grown breasts is also very important for you. But with the men, we don't get any use from it. There's nothing that comes from male's breast that benefits anybody except just those who have big ones. It just protrudes. But then for the women, that is a source of nutrition for our babies. I mean, when they come from the womb, that is where they feed. They take a long time to feed on it before, they start working. And even those who are the children who are working, some of them will still go and play and still go and sit on mommy's lap and drink some breast milk. And of course, once a child, always a child. Once a man, always a man. Even men, when they grow, they still want to play with the breast. So it's very important. We want to make sure our females, especially, I'm not saying men don't get breast cancer, but especially the women want to make sure they are protected. So this month, as the month comes to a gradual end, we want to make sure our women are aware of breast cancer from all over the world. That is why we take time to celebrate. The whole of October is breast cancer. And those of you who have WhatsApp, if you go on a WhatsApp, especially the boys schools, we have, breast, all kinds of shapes of breast being, spread on WhatsApp platform. It's so funny. You see the breast, the one that is standing, the young ones, the one that is slanting, the one that is going down a little bit, and the one that has gone down in the sack state. Whatever state you are in as a woman on the breast, don't be discouraged. The Lord is your helper. Stay tight there. Use all possible means, whatever you can use to hook it up and keep it firm and straight. Let it be. Do it and make sure you are also protecting your health. So we're going to discuss breast cancer, what causes it, and what are some of the things we have to watch for. At what age do we start screening for breast cancer. They are all very important. So let's dig into it. All right, here we go.
Kosuwa na ti era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yede nsem anomuaye ebrem.
All right, back to our study. As said, we are looking at breast cancer awareness for tonight. We're going to look at some of the risk factors. We want to make sure our women are looking for the right stuff when they do their study or daily routines. Sometimes they raise the wrong hand and do all the tests and make sure there are no unwanted lumps in your breast. Of course, when it comes to our One Health team, myself, Dr. and the support coadjutor, Dr. Menu and his wife, Vera, they are not here tonight, so I'm standing in. But when it comes to health is what we try to educate our, listeners, audience, the best way that we can, whatever education we have received. We want to give you the theoretical aspect. We try as much as possible to bring you practicals. That is where the doctors come in and share their practical views of whatever we discuss here. And we are doctors of philosophy, PhD they call us, but the practical doctors are the ones who work in the the theaters and the hospitals and all that, doing all the diagnosis. So we need them to come here and teach us the practicalities of what we are demonstrating. All right, so we're going to go into our study, and of course, I like to have reliable information. So most of the time, CDC is my source because it's the government center where information has been tried and proven to be true before it comes out. All right, so we are looking at one of the books that I used for my doctoral studies was written by Mary Jane Schneider, and she's the author of Introduction to Public Health, and the one I particularly was fond of was the third edition. And she said our health is determined significantly by genes and sometimes by prenatal exposure to infectious agents and toxic substances. Pretty much what she's saying is that our whole holistic being is made up of the genes, what your mama and your father give to you. Each of them contribute something from their own DNA, and they give to you as the combination of that becomes you. So whoever you are made up of your mother and your father, and those genes come from each of them. And then when you are born, we have what we call the environmental factors. So genes are like what I say, a loaded gun. The gun is loaded with all kinds of ammunition sitting there. But unless somebody presses the trigger, it remains an immobile machine. That is why when these, crazy people take guns and walk through the street and they have the loaded gun, but whoever has it has to press the trigger to cause any harm. So the genes are in your system, they are ready to go off. But if it's not triggered, they don't actually manifest. That is why the environment is very important. As for the genes, they are there. They are ready because they've been given to you by your parents. You are born with it and they come out. But then the environment can also modify them. Either the environment set them loose to be, worse, or they can slow it down, So we have to watch the environment too. As for the genes, you can't do much about it because they are inherited. They are given to you by your parents. They gave it to you. You can't do much. But like I said, when you come or you are born, you can control them. Maybe if you have motherly or fatherly gene that is prone to you becoming obese or something, you can control it because when you come, the environment that you are born in can make or mar your life. You can say, okay, I have the genes for being obese, but I'm going to go to the gym and exercise 3 times a day, or I'm going to watch how I eat. Or if you have the gene for maybe diabetes, you want to say, I'm going to control my sugar. I'm not even going to eat sugar at all. You do something to control what is already there. They may force to manifest, but then your physical activity, your environmental conditions will change it. All right, somebody may ask, what is a gene? What is a gene at all? Well, a gene is basically a physical or functional unit of hereditary. That is what, like I said, is given to you. And genes are made up of DNA, and each chromosome contains many genes. So we are made up of what? 23 pairs of genes. Your mother gives you 23, your father gives you 23, you have the 46 chromosomes, and they make up the human entity. So whoever you are made up of your father and your mother and some from your grandparents. Sometimes you say, oh, akwala we on send mommy on send papa cry, but be are not sending na be a or buy and so ba. Enti enyimre ye ka ba send ma no mubu hu se bia obi wo breast cancer and I say necessary yeah to avoid breast cancer. That's what we're talking about. And then of course, I mean, since knowledge is abounding, there's something we can do. So with increasing knowledge about genetic basis of disease, no, public health, as we all know, no, is able to take some actions so that they can minimize the impact. For example, a child can receive the defective genes from each parent for a disease such as sickle cell. Sickle cell yaribia, so papa will treat, you know, that's how mommy will treat now. Two receptors never together, they explode and you become, an individual who has the disease. All right, we're talking about breast cancer tonight for October awareness. Inti, say October, breast cancer awareness, BBR. Nkɔfoɔ de ato calendar no so yearly calendar say every year be an October we will celebrate breast cancer awareness until we refi koraa say 9 months no one kaya the 10th month of the year in October so who say breast cancer awareness is something that medicine or public health wants to celebrate. I wouldn't use the word celebrate, then to bring an awareness onto you. All right, so what is breast cancer? Breast cancer is commonly a term for this cancerous cells, your cells, causes, and some might be malignant tumor that starts in the cell, and which lines the ducts and the lobes of the breast. And to share, I wish I had a PowerPoint or pictorial representation to show. Of course, you all know what the breast is. So inside, we have all these lobes that make up the breast, And breast cancer actually is not only one disease, but rather it is several diseases that behave differently. Because when you have breast cancer, be just one cancer, various forms of cancer, and now come together to manifest in cell and go through. Okay, so right, let's go. What causes breast cancer? Medicine or doctors might not be precisely pin it down what exactly the one thing that causes breast cancer, but studies have identified that numerous risk factors have identified for breast cancer in women, including it could be hormonal, hormones now you inherited, they are prone to it. Like I said, you can't do anything unless there's medical intervention and medications be able to make a to bring it down. And your lifestyle, and again, the good old environmental factors, these may increase the risk of breast cancer. And other factors are to me lead to any increasing age, especially if you are more than 50 years, you are a candidate. It doesn't mean say you are 50, you definitely going to have it. But then if you're about 50, the probability, a little bit high. That's one. Into if you more from us and more for us, ABC 40 when who signs be 50 you have to be careful. That is why there is an specific age that you have to start screening for breast cancer. We'll come to that later. And apart from age, we have what we call the personal history of breast cancer. Personal history means be a woman and papa will be because it's in the genes that they gave it to you. You are a candidate. It doesn't mean automatically say you're going to be a victim of it, but then it's recessive in you. It is there. You have the history. When you have breast cancer and into call hospital mainly questionnaire and you be all this be okay. Family when you be an tracking because they are not psychics to know what is going on. They just go by the scientific and written questionnaire. Be all kinds of questions. Try to rule out what could be and rule in order and say a question that we ask and then it might come up. And then maybe to say early menstruation. In manner menstruating term no first nan could be a udi be 14, 15 crowns and abayua ebuninsa. But this time because of nutrition, all kinds of stuff, some cases grass will be quite 10 crown one menstruating. And of course, we heard about 10-year-olds who have given birth to children before. And of course, you have to menstruate before you begin to have children. The cells should be available until age needs to count. And a late menopause. On menopause, let's say after 45, some people experience menopause. 50, 55, you can get it. But then for late menopause, it could also be a factor. And something like your first pregnancy after age 30, that is why they encourage the women to try as much as possible. I know it's not your fault, but by 30, by 30, now best as a woman. from my studies, no, almost 30, so more after 30 years, and there's a likelihood, and so it's not guaranteed, but it's possible that having your first pregnancy after 30 years, no, could also be a cause of, breast cancer. It's possible. I mean, you'll be on a go through anyway. Sarah was over 90 years, but the Bible and can be so when you have breast cancer. Maybe that is something that I'm just throwing out there. And the use of oral contraceptives, and also so factor, in doing the P or higher far because it do be anywhere any side effect. Most of the medication we take, most of them have side effects. And treat you one aspect of your yare, no, other treats so amount. It's curing you here, it's treating your problem here, but then it leaves behind side effects. Use of contraception could also be a problem. I mean, that's been found in a research. And of course, I mentioned the family history of breast cancer. That's also a factor. And the presence of certain inherited genetic changes, genes may mutate. And also in doing that, by doing that, because they are changing, they also leave some of this problem that could cause breast cancer. That's what some of the studies talk about. And then history of radiation therapy, chemo, other treatments, eventually some of them leave behind cancerous cells, which could affect the breast, and it becomes breast cancer. And then long-term use of combined hormone therapy, use hormones to treat other, because we say nipa body is very, very complex. And in MAP lead to where so before we say more hormone, we inject hormone with beer for UT and a buan over so or alopecia. Nitrogen S and man hormone therapy, we be a therapy at the moment if you are quite affected other parts of the body, including the breast, which could give breast cancer. And some of these things are easy to identify, others are not so easy to identify. So tonight, we are talking about the risk of breast cancer. That is what we're discussing tonight. If you have any questions, you can text it in, you can bring it in, and we can discuss this. I want to welcome Joseph Ampedu to the studio. You're joining us on Facebook, and I just want to say thank you for joining us. All right, so let me get a quick ad here, and then we'll continue.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Vanahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Boison Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have X-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs, and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you, and stay blessed.
All right, you are welcome back to Era One Radio. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, also on Modern Ghana Radio. The show tonight is the usual Health is Worth Protected. I'm your host, Charles Boison. All right, so before the break, I was mentioning or discussing some of the symptoms. I mean, what causes breast cancer, and I mentioned a few of them. I just want to add alcohol use. If you're a lady and you consume too much alcohol, please watch it. It could be one of the reasons leading to breast cancer. And as I said, men are not precluded from, you can also get it. I mean, it's a tissue in the breast. So if you have all these large tissues as a man, you want to watch it, because it's not guaranteed that being a man, you won't get it. So that's the caveat we have to know. And then also obesity after menopause. Some people, when the older you become, the slower your metabolism becomes. And so sometimes you eat and the food is not digesting quicker enough. It's not unlike those days when we were kids, we just eat and we'll go and play chaskele, soccer, and all that stuff. So the food just, vanishes here and then becomes something else. But as you go, you don't do all of those things. So your body slows down. And so when you are beginning to put on all this weight, it could also be a factor to breast cancer. All right, so the CDC, Center for Disease and Prevention, made a study and reported that breast cancer could be attributed to combination of factors, some of which I've already mentioned there. And of course, some of them include being a woman being above, 50 years and above, and women with breast cancer could also have causes such as, what I've listed above, and kind of effects that may lead to other things. So you might have this problem here and it could lead you into another problem. So we have to look at this synergistic effect. You have this problem and it could lead you to this other thing. So we have to watch it. You might have breast cancer and obesity is also waiting for you. So we have to watch it. I mean, do whatever you can. If it means exercising, watching your diet, watching your history, something that is in your history that you want to protect against, you do all that you can to protect it. And let's talk about hereditary. Hereditary, I said, it's all matter of the genes transferring from your parents to you, and this causes breast cancer, ovarian cancer, so could also be a factor. And the CDC study shows that 5% to 10% of breast, and then 10% to 15% of ovarian cancers are hereditary. So apart from the environmental factors which could lead to this, 5% to 10% of breast cancer and 10 to 15% ovarian cancer are all from your genes, your parental genes that is being handed on to you. So if you know that this percentage is coming from your parents or grandparents, you have to do whatever you can to watch it. And luckily, there are medications that can help. But then the ones that the environment contribute to, those are the ones that we have to be careful about, because those ones, we have some means of control. We can control them to make sure they don't spread. But the one that come from your hereditary, your parents, your grandparents, those are the ones that we don't have too much control. But again, I mean, if you watch your lifestyle, they can cause a whole lot of difference. And then the genes, as I've said, they act as instructions, and they contain information to build and maintain cells in your body. So they are the ones telling your body, this is what I want you to produce, or this is what I want to do. So we have to watch those things very well. And these genes are made up of DNA. The DNA tells the body what traits will be passed on from parents to children, such as your blood type, your hair color, your eye color, and then the risk of getting all these. So the genes, or what your parents give to you, they are very, very important. We have to really, really watch them. All right. So looking at the genes that causes breast cancer, there are two particular genes in the body that are very, very important. That's the breast cancer 1, and the initials is BRCA1, and breast cancer 2, BRCA2. These are the two genes that are important to fighting cancer. They are the tumor suppressor genes. When they work normally, these genes help to keep breast, ovarian, and other types of cells from growing and dividing too rapidly or in an uncontrolled manner. So these genes are responsible to make sure whether you're going to get the breast cancer or you're not going to get it. They are working in tandem to make sure they are fighting off all the bad guys. Sometimes a change or mutation occurs in the BRCA genes, that's the breast cancer genes, that prevent them from working normally. So if anything prevents the normal working of these two, genes, then you are in trouble. And this raises a person's risk for the breast or ovarian and other cancers. So we have to be very, very careful about how, if it's there, there's not too much you can do, but you have to. That's why the early screening, where you do your mammograph, will tell your provider what is going on in your system. And if there's any remedy they can provide, they can do that. So it's very imperative that if you're a lady, you have to watch when you need to go for your mammograph test to make sure they are not discovering anything too late. And then, like I said, sometimes the changes or the mutation occur that prevent the genes from doing what they are supposed to do, and that's what leads to the breast cancer developing in men. All right, let's see. All right, so especially the BRCA1 and the BRCA2, these are the genes that we will have to watch. Because of time, let me just move on to when will be the appropriate time to screen for breast cancer. According to Mayo Clinic, they have done a study, and they have established the age of 40 40 to be the appropriate screening of mammogram age to detect early cancer. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it 30, but then that is the established age. So once you hit 40 years, thereafter you have to make it every year, possibly. Make sure you are, set an appointment with your providers to make sure you are checking it, because you're not going to say, well, I'm just going to check it at 40 and I'll skip 41, 42, 43 and go to 45. No, you don't want to do that to yourself. Once you hit 40, you want to make sure every year you are going to, because early detection is a whole lot of game changer for remedy. If they're able to discover it early, then they will know what to do. And it says that findings from randomized trials of women in their 40s and 50s have shown that screening mammograms reduce the risk of dying of breast cancer. So the study shows that if you screen early, that is when they detect early. If you wait too long, then you are hampering yourself. So please, as much as possible, make sure when you hit, if you're not doing earlier before that, when you hit 40, you want to start screening. See, yeah, my memory, your sisters near new animals. So when to me and you start to cry, would you 40 years there? So bomb more than so when over start to screening. Or call or provide for a doctor and make appointments. Say, hey doc, me person me be check it. Me be mammogram no mo hwe menu fu say adwua bi developer and say bibia o person wohu saa ne man nyina ntem. So omhu ne ntem a let's say a treatment me some of them are no much me start ne ntem. All right, so the other question I may want to ask is, what are the symptoms of breast cancer? If somebody has breast cancer, how do you know? How do you detect it? How do you say, I have it, so I should, if I haven't seen it all these years, I have to go for treatment. But fortunately, before you even begin experiencing the symptoms, and I'm sure your body chemistry would have changed, or your body would have signaled to you in some ways, hey, Auntie Madam, in the way as body, you have to take care. And even so, when you say late, you don't actually detect it, because the study shows that different people have different symptoms of breast cancer. It's not like one size fits all. Near AC or Ajua and yet the same thing. Say I must be experiencing the same thing, although they are all women and they are subject to hormonal changes. The symptoms might be universal, it could be generic, so you have to watch it. Yeah, see what way them necessarily, but generally most of them experience on the whole symptoms such as new lump in the breast or underarm, your armpit. Into bia de bia ukojare bia uso nufumu wankasa omiemia ahwe so bibia lump bia enim and a member nso betumi aboa. I mean obetumi ma ukunu so member na kasa mo pay so mo dada. Nso kasa kwa me hwe menufumu se bibia ma he would gladly do it. Ona kasa invite ne kwa no pay so. Nso kasa Jack, so mom na hwe bia obey gladly. I mean detecting lumps in your breast is very important. If once you detect it and it's not there and you detect it, then which means, madam, there's something that you need to take. And then thickening or swelling of part of the breast. So you have your normal breast. Breast is the size, the weight, everything. But according to research, I'm saying it's a breast like normal in one. Sometimes the left is a little bigger than the right, not by any big margin or anything, but it just shows that if you put the two together, yeah, they are not equally, in size, although most people too, I think they do. And thickening or swelling of the part of the breast is something you want to watch out for. And irritation or dimpling of the breast skin, or so be na breast skin is assistant wouldn't and like I say, woman know thyself. We've been a children book was a man know thyself, woman know thyself, wouldn't only more body no, wouldn't send we see so would 15, 16, na straight a pointed straight, horizontally. And I would do 20 a depo kakra, would do 25 over 2 if you call from kakra, 30, 40 if you start to call from 40, 50 if you call from cra, then you have to, start looking for all this. They are all signs, because they will not always be horizontal, pointing straight. Age will catch up and they will go down. And that is where they do that is another different thing. And a redness or flaky skin in the nipple area or the breast. So you have to watch it. If there's any redness or flakiness in the skin, especially the nipple area, now you have to know that something is changed. That is not how your nipple or breast used to be. So there's been a change which calls for a doctor's attention. So call your provider, make up an appointment, and go and get it checked out. If they go and they say there's nothing, no cause for alarm. But if it's something to, I don't want you to keep on being that state for too long. And pulling in of the nipple or pain in the nipple area. Sometimes your nipple pulls in, instead of pulling, being out, it pulls in, you realize that it's all a matter of noticing the change. Make sure you are realizing whatever change is going on. You have to notice it. And nipple discharge other than breast. So the breast milk, the way God designed it, the only thing that needs to come out is just maybe the breast milk and occasionally maybe liquid here and there, just normal fluid there. But if you see anything like blood or any discharge that is normal, and then, sister, there's something going on, you want to make sure, especially if it is bloody, then that is a 911 call. I'm just saying that. But then just make sure you attend to it. Don't wait for too long. So we are discussing this because of October being Breast Awareness Month. So we have to make sure we are educating our people. Please, if you haven't taken note of it, maybe after this presentation, you want to go to the bathroom and check your breast, or maybe later on, make sure your breast is functioning the way it's designed to be, because it's beautiful. God has designed and decorated so nicely. It gives you ladies shape and all that. That's why if a woman's breast is sagging, they want to do everything they can to make sure it is standing at attention. And then also another something you might want to notice, you may notice is pain in any area of the breast. If you realize that there's intense pain, this is not something you realized yesterday or 2 days ago. You just realize there's some acuteness, some sharpness of pain in either of the breasts. Please make sure you are taking note of that. All right, we're still broadcasting on Era One on Facebook and YouTube, and also on Modern Ghana Radio. You are listening to the Health is Well show. Health is well protected. All right, let's look at the risk factors you cannot change. There are some things that you cannot change when it comes to risk factors, or as far as genetics and all that are concerned. You might try the medication and that thing, but a few of them very difficult to control. You yourself, you don't have so much control, but we call it nature taking over, and some things that could be to attributes that we have no control over, especially like I said earlier on, getting older. Age is something that we'll all go through. We'll all go through age. It's something that every one of us will experience. You can't beat age. You can put all the chemicals and the makeups and everything you want to do in life. At certain points, the body will give up. You can't make up your body all the time. We make up, we in the damn crowd, with me, you made our confination, baby, in your hundreds and 110. The body begins to give up. Into we make up, no crowd still alive, once away there. Age is something that we cannot defy. We can't defy it. We'll try and do all that we can, but it's something that nature God has given us. We'll grow old and the skin will get tired, and it will go to where it came from. So it's one of the things we can't control. And so the risk for breast cancer increases with age. And most breast cancers are diagnosed after age 50. That is why beginning from 40, you want to make sure you are screening, doing your mammograph test from 40 every year. Don't just take chance. Don't say, oh, make 40, 41, they make me escape it. No matter 45. Please do yourself a favor. It doesn't hurt to, check it. If you check and there's something that all they do is, it's earlier to be detected early and take a remedy of action for it than to wait. Dr. Beka said, oh, Joe, about 2 years ago, and keep it me, baby. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear any doctor telling you, oh, we share too much, oh, bantema. As to be on your heart attack. You have 4 minutes. 4 minutes for CPR or something to take, to be done to you before you don't go. But for starting no beer and now that's 10 minutes. The probability of you surviving is very, very slim. That is why it's imperative that you start from 40 with the screening. And like I said, most are diagnosed after age 15. From 40, every year you are screening. Every year, beyond record, your medical record shows that you came last year, you screened, nothing was found. Everything was negative. At the point where it changes, then they know this is where it started from. So call last year and there was nothing there. Let's say this initial, which means it's just less than a year into that. Treatment procedure might not be intense as somebody who has waited 5, 10 years before going to see the doctor. All right, then other important things that you cannot change, genetic mutations. That one you cannot change. It's happening in situ in your body. You don't know what is going inside your body, especially if you advance in your system. You don't know what is. All you can do is, as long as you are putting in your mouth, that's all you need to care about. When it goes to your mouth and xylene or the enzymes begin to work on it now, that is none of your business. You don't have control. In your raw stomach, small instant, large instant, you don't have control. Whatever is happening inside your body, no, you don't have control. And so something like genetic mutations, they are mutating. We don't know what is going on. And that is one thing we cannot have control. But then the good news is that if you've been doing your mammogram or checking your lifestyle and say, happy now, they know how far it's been happening and what they can do. So women who have inherited changes or the mutations to certain genes, such as the genes responsible for BRCA, that's breast cancer 1 and breast cancer 2, are at higher risk of breast and ovarian cancer. And see, the genetic aspect is very important. That's why I'm saying, if it was given to you, your parents gave you that gene out, it's very difficult to take it out. You cannot do overhauling and wash your body and say, okay, me dem overhaul me ko me jeans and me papa ni mama dem me nyamempe me ko tuni nyina egu. The only thing you can do is blood transfusion. We have about 6 pints of blood in our body. There's a time where you go through trauma or something, they can transfuse you and change all the blood in your system. All the systems can be changed because the mouth outside 6 pints of blood are literally, we are flashing everything in your system and giving you fresh blood from somebody. That is done. But when it comes to genetic system now, it's very difficult to wash those things away. And if it's there, you can't change it. We are looking at factors that you cannot change. Another one is reproductive history. All right, so beginning from menstrual periods, normally age 12, 11, 12, 13, and then starting the menopause after age 55, these expose women to hormones longer, raising their risk of getting breast cancer. Into your reproductive history is also very important. You have to know. That is why they try to go back and ask you when you doctor baby saw history, say, did your mother have this history? Were there anybody in your lineage that had this, they ask you whether it's diabetes, heart attack, whatever. They want to know because, like I said earlier on, no doctor is psychic. They just go by what they've studied in school to screen these things by, asking you questions, and then the responses you give to them will tell them. Because when you have breast cancer, now doctor need be question now, okay, so me na bi breast cancer, me mama so then they know, so okay, it's in your lineage. Until then they rule it out easily, and then they start with the medication. So it's very, very, very essential that when you go for all these questionnaires, please be honest and provide the right answers. And yes, you are kind of delaying your own treatment. All right, then having dense breast. Dense breasts have more connective tissue, than fatty tissue, which can sometimes make it hard to see tumors on mammogram. Sad dense tissues kind of overshadow, clouds the mammogram. Sometimes you might not be able to detect it. Into which me call for mammogram, never catch you, so everything is fine. But because of dense tissue, dense breast, the equipment or machine cannot detect it very well. That is why it's important that every year you go, so that what was missed one particular year could be caught the following year. So it's very important. And then having personal history of breast cancer or certain non-cancerous breast diseases. Okay, women have breast cancers and are likely to get breast cancer a second time. It will be when you breast cancer done. Even if they go through treatment, it's likely that you could get it again, depending on whether the whole cells were taken out of your system. The likelihood say they will take everything out, it's, maybe 90% or 95%. That 5% left, could cause problems. It's a breast cancer initially, maybe she was treated. It's possible. It's possible that the cells could regenerate and come back again, and so some non-cancerous cells, such as atypical hyperplasia or lobular carcinoma, are associated with higher risk of getting the cancer. So some of these things, these cells, are also contributing factors to you getting breast cancer. And then family history of breast cancer, breast ovarian cancer is already, like I said, it's something that we have to watch out for. And previous treatment using radiation therapy, of course. So it will be hard a previous disease, not even related to breast cancer. Now the person was exposed to radiation therapy. Because of that treatment, it's possible that the breast could also be affected. And will go through infants, it could be any chemo that you are subjected to. That radiation that you are given to could eventually be a factor to you getting breast cancer. And then the exposure to drugs, some of the drugs that they mentioned is DES, diethyl stilbestrol. And it's also one of the medications, drugs that if you take it too much, it could lead to, breast cancer. So we have to watch it very well. And there's a study that says that this medication was given to some pregnant women in the United States between 1940 and 1971 to prevent miscarriage. So the purpose wasn't even for breast cancer, to prevent miscarriage. Women who took the DS or whose mothers took this DS while pregnant with them have a higher risk of getting breast cancer. And you can imagine, so we show mommy was pregnant with you or mommy, and now mommy take some medication to make sure say you are not being not even intentional about it. Just miscarriage, just you coming before time and not surviving. Or faster medications, or sure so me bano akosia me person me won bibia me carrying to term 9 months or whatever. She is taking a medication to prevent your coming. To make sure say you are not miscarried. She will have you at the right time. Me bano. But at the same time, some medication are often for the good, later becomes bad because it's going to affect you, the one that they are trying to protect. And it's your fault. It's no fault of yours. Your mother is trying to protect you. Make sure she doesn't get any miscarriage. But in the interim, while she's using that medication, you end up taking this thing. I wouldn't use the word swallow, but it becomes part of you. All right, let's see what is going on. Let me take a quick ad, and then we'll continue with our study. I don't see any questioning right now. All right.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Boison Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Boison Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
All right, we are still broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube, and it's the Era One Radio Show. The discussion we're having is the Health is Wealth Show, and we're talking about breast cancer awareness. So talking about prevention, of course, I wouldn't end without introducing you to the Fiminji herbal tea. This is very good for preventing diabetes. Very good for preventing diabetes. If you went to the hospital, they did your lab work and your doctor said your A1C is more than 5.6, or you are pre-clinically diabetic, or your A1C is higher, so you are prone to diabetes, please watch it. Kofi Aboy, my brother, is a distributor of this tea. It's been researched. It's gone through pages of research and be found to be potent. So if you are in Ghana, you can call his number 054-207-0438. 054-207-0438. It's called the Fiminji Herbal Tea. They have their location in Abosokan. So please don't let your diabetes become uncontrollable. All you do is get this herb tea, put one sachet in boiled water, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and just drink it after your meal. Just eat your fufu or a ponchinkaka or whatever you want to eat after that. Drink this tea and it works miraculously. Please don't let your diabetes get overboard. So we're talking about awareness of breast cancer, but at the same time, everyone want to make sure you are protecting yourself. All right, So we're going to continue. Well, I left off at factors that you cannot change. When it comes to breast cancer, there are some things that you cannot change, such as your genetic makeup, what your dad and your mom gave you, they are in your genes. But even that still, with the environment and all that is going on, there is medication, but you can do something to slow it down and to make sure you are staying in good health. So right, so the next thing I'm going to go on is risk factor that you can change. There are some things that genetics will not make you change it easily because they are part of your genes. It's in your DNA. You can't do much. Just like if you are born short, I mean, at a certain age, maybe after 18, you don't grow any taller. 10 cra, your height doesn't increase. I mean, I don't know whether there is any research that says that you can grow taller again after a certain age, 20, 30 going. You get to a point in your life that in that age, you can't even add any more height. You can grow in girth and weight and all that, but height, it has a limit. If you are 5'1", maybe you'll be there, after a while. So some of these things you cannot change. And then we have the factors that you can change. The genes are there, but you say, hey, stop you, genes, you are there, but I'm going to do something to stop you. You want to come out, I'm going to suppress you, and I'm going to be in good health. They said my mother was diabetic, but I'm going to live a good life. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to hit the gym 3 times every week or 3 times every day. I'm going to change the way I eat. So, brocoto 5 days a week. I'm cutting down on the brocoto. I'm not eating red meat after 6 or 7 p.m. I'm cutting all this. You are doing yourself a service. That is how you change things to better your health. But if you are not doing all these things, you are eating everything that is in the fridge and you are happy about that. Years ago, when you were in Ghana, let's say you had a big stomach, you go for funerals and you have your kente on you, people say, yeah, that is a rich man coming. These days, it's not so anymore. When people see you like that, you say, this is a sick person coming. I know you have to control it. So if you are eating too much, you have to control. Those of us who eat after 9 p.m., it's not a good thing. We are all trying to stop. So there are some things, there are some risk factors that we can change that will help us to live and grow older. I mean, if you see somebody at the age of 9,500, you wonder, what did you do to get there? And they will tell you. I mean, I once listened to Pastor Shimolo, the Nigerian pastor in London. He was saying that at a certain age, I mean, he stopped eating sugar, like 20 years ago. He stopped eating this, so and so. And the guy is 70 and still working strong as ever. So people are doing stuff to change their lifestyle to live longer. You want to live longer and see your children's children attend all the weddings and, kick it with your grannies and all that. But if you are not, and watching your health and just living anyhow, nature, it's not going to work for you. All right. So there are factors that you can do to change the probability or the high stake of you having breast cancer. All right. So not being physically active. This one you can change. You can't afford that you're not going to be physically active. At least do some walking. I know some people will say, oh, me, I don't like running. Okay, nobody is telling you to run every day. But walk in the neighborhood. Do some walking. If you're a woman who is obese, you are prone. That is a factor that could lead you to breast cancer. Do some walking. After eating or something, walk in the neighborhood. Take their kids, take them to the park and go and walk around. Do some walking. I know when you live in certain developed countries, the propensity to exercise is not there. Meanwhile, that is where all the gadgets are. You leave your home sitting room, you walk to your garage, you sit in your car, start it, open the hood, your garage door by remote, you leave, you just press a button, the garage door closes, you are gone, you go to the office, you are a sedentary worker, you are a secretary, just sitting there typing stuff, your boss brings a file, you grab it and you type, you don't even get up and walk around. You are not doing yourself a service. These days, we all have wrist watches that even tell us. They will tell you, Jack, you've been sitting for too much. My watch tells me every time, after every hour, it will just show me the sign of somebody stretching. It tells me, buddy, it's time to get up and stretch. You don't have to go for an hour, but just walk around, stretch, and these machines are helping us. And don't say, oh, forget you, I know what I'm doing. And just sit there 8 hours and close and go home. It's not going to help you. All right. Being overweight or having obesity after menopause. These are also factors that you can change. Obesity is something that can be controlled. Like I said earlier on, watch what you eat, watch when you eat, and watch how large you eat. Ran, I'm tempted after this show. My wife is done some fufu that I'm thinking about it, but I have to eat it before it's too late. You have to watch all that stuff, the way we eat, what time we eat. It's very important because being an overweight or obese woman is not very good, and especially also for the men too, because like I said, breast cancer is not limited to only men, only women. Men too can get it. And then taking hormones, some forms of hormone replacement therapy, and like those that include both estrogen and progesterone, taking during menopause can raise your risk of breast cancer when taken for more than 5 years. And certain oral contraceptives, that is birth pills and all that, have been found to raise breast cancer. So like I said earlier on, some medications that we take, hormone therapy, although they are purported to treat or cure other things, they leave other side effects and they also produce something else. And again, so if you can reduce some of those hormones, it will help, because too much of that is what is going to produce all that. And then reproductive history. If you had your first pregnancy after age 30, you didn't breastfeed, and you never had a full term of pregnancy, that could also be a factor. But that's something you can change. Into man, because I'm a career woman, I want to finish, I want to build 3 houses, I want to be a billionaire, and before I get married, and then your clock is ticking after you got all this, you are 35, and now you are scrambling for a man. And that is when any man at all that comes, you grab. So we have to be careful whilst building your career. Make sure you are not pushing your childbirth to too age. If you must do it quickly within the appropriate age. Nobody's saying rush, but then if you have to you want to do it. Don't wait till 35, 40 before you start. That is also something you can change, you can work on. And then drinking alcohol. I don't know what people get in alcohol. I mean, people drinking for all kinds of reasons. Somebody will say, "Me twa kakra na ma fine. Me didi say me twa kakra. Apetite sell me twa kakra na me fine." Some of these things you can control them. Nobody is saying every now and then you can sip a little bit of wine to, I mean, of course, the Holy Communion there, we drink our normal wine. But the one that has alcohol that people drink excessively, I know somebody who traveled from Africa, came here and realized that there's good wine here, started drinking and drinking. By the time he knew, he was in the gutter. You don't want to do that. So you want to, so these are some of the things that you can change to better your chances of not being a victim of breast cancer. You are still listening to us on Era One. We are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube and Modern Ghana Radio. I have about 7 minutes more, so let me jump in. All right, so the question is, who is at high risk for breast cancer? Why na breast cancer na ni gene ho a de bi o person oba ni nchen? Who attracts breast cancer? Who are those at risk for breast cancer? And from what we discussed tonight, if you have a history of this in your family, whether male or female, you are at high risk. Breast cancer can be passed down through your family, and thus increasing it both in men and women. See, if you have it in your family, then we are candidates already. It's already there in your family. And there's probability that you can get it. But again, if you control it and go with some of the things that we have discussed that you can change now, although it will be there, very slow and manifest it too much. There are some things that have been handed on to us, but it doesn't mean say because they've been given to you, you have to live through it. Like I said, you might have the breast cancer in your lineage, in your family. Maybe your mom or father had it. It doesn't mean say you also should live with it, because you can do something about it. If it's obesity, it was handed to you, but you can say, you know what, I know it's there, but I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm not going to eat after a certain time of the day. I'm not going to eat this heavy meal. I'm going to cut down on my sugar. I'm going to exercise. Because when you exercise, you are burning all these calories and you are getting your body to get rid of things that the body doesn't need. If you have a strong family history of breast cancer or inherited changes in your BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes, you may have a high risk of getting breast cancer. You may also have a high risk of being ovarian cancer if you are a woman. But above it all, if any of these things happen to you peradventure, you don't have control over. Your parents gave this to you as a gift through the genes. Of course, yeah, it might yes, yeah, mobi, yeah, share. It also genes nibi. Breast cancer also genes nibi. You can say, Daddy, Mommy, thank you, but I'm going to do something about it. Go back and implement these measures, the things that you cannot change. You don't have too much control. But the things that you can change, please do. Change them and make your life better. And so I'm going to end with this scripture. The scripture of hope. Of course, we go through life and there are some things we cannot change. But the God of this, the one that put creation into motion, he has a way out for everything. Our bodies are already there. I mean, we have to obey nature. But there are some things that when we call on the Savior, the Father, he can change things. So those days when Moses was leaving Egypt with the Israelites, crossing the Red Sea, going to the promised land, God said something to Moses that I want to say to you tonight as an encouragement to whatever you're going through. So if you are listening and you have any of these you're going through, okay, maybe you've just been diagnosed, there is hope. There are some things that nature or medicine cannot control, but the governor of the universe, the one who controls everything, he can do something about it. I believe in prayer. I believe in prayer. So what lifestyle cannot do, what medicine has come to an end and say, we have tried everything. Just lay it before God and say, Lord, I need help. You alone can do it. So like I was saying, when you read Exodus chapter 15, verse 26, and this is what the King James Version it says, and said, if thou would diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and would do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. What an encouragement. So God was literally telling Moses that tell the people, and it's a conditional clause. When God puts a condition there, then you have to know what you are supposed to do yourself. Whenever you see the word if there means a condition, God says, I will do this if you also do this. If you do A, I will do B, or vice versa. God was telling Moses, tell the people, if only they will be diligent to hearken me. And you realize that before Israel, going through their journey through the wilderness, the if there didn't work because most of them doubted God. They messed up Moses. They made a man so angry, he struck a rock when he was supposed to speak it. And so Moses ended up not even getting to the promised land. And so that diligent thing there, hearkening to the Lord, did not work for all the Israelites. So God killed most of them 20 years and below. So God is saying that if only we will hearken unto his voice and do that which is right. If we all of us will do what is right and hearken to the commandments of God, do not kill your neighbor, do not do this. And if all of us will love the Lord our God with all our heart and mind, and if we will love a neighbor as ourselves, then the disease that God said was upon Egypt will never come near us. I don't know what you are going through, but if your doctor has said that we have done everything, there's nothing we can do, lift up your eyes to the hills. Psalm 121, from whence your help cometh from. I believe God can come through. It's not too late. I believe that when medicine comes to its wit's end, there is nothing more to do. That is when God picks up the slack and says, my son, my daughter, I can take it from here. I want to thank you for joining us on Era One Radio and our Health is Wealth show. I've been your host and presenter since my people are all off tonight. I had to do it by myself, but it's okay. And I'm sure Dr. Osis was there to give me some moral support. Thank you, CEO and manager, for making the platform available. So I just want to say Era One continues to be a 24/7 program. I believe our women are ready to come on tomorrow. Sister Dorcas and her team, they have to be here tomorrow with their Real Incomo Nkiti program. Let me play you a clip and I will sign up.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the Real Incomo Nkiti. In Komobia Yesesi Chin, a dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and our Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete, we nyan konsa, we the real in common getting.
That is the real and common Kitty show. We are trusting that tomorrow they will show up and blow the studio. Also on Monday, that will be tomorrow, Sunday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, we have also an exciting program. We have the Financial Premier program. We also have the Yonsum program. The financial program talks about how you can manage your finances. I think the last time they talked about how to buy a home instead of renting and all that, how to budget. It's very educative program you want to listen to. And the Yensum program talks about, bringing us news all the way from Ghana and other parts of the country. It's a very interesting program, and the updates contain information that you want to know, how the city is doing right now. And you have Brother Kobe hosting it, Dr. Ostus and Dr. Opokwajima all show up to have a lively discussion. Let me play you a clip, to tease you a little, to make sure you watch it on Monday from 7 to 8. All right. On that note, I'm signing up. But remember, I told you about our sister in Accra, Adenta, Martha, who has a poultry farm. It's called My Farm. Please visit her farm at Adenta. It's called My Farm. Look for the farm. And those of you who are so much in love with eating frozen chicken, it's about time you went to the farm and get a live chicken. Christmas is coming. Make an appointment with her and get a chicken or a fowl killed by the experts there and enjoy fresh meat. All right. On behalf of our studio manager and the Era One team, I want to say thank you for being with us. Continue listening to Era One. We are 24/7. If you don't have the app on your phone, please go to Play Store or Google App Store and download the app on your phone. Anytime we are live, which is 24/7, you will catch us live and enjoy all the music, all the inspiration, and all the teachings that we bring. Until we come your way again next week, have a good evening and stay blessed. Bye-bye.
When you're me,
I didn't Urifiana. Say to me, mania, any of me, mania, about I didn't was so I didn't me back, I didn't cry. I was any that's what any that's all, any that's all, any that's on, any that's all, any that's on, yo. Any that's all, I am in Subia, any that's all, any that's all.